Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, welcome back. If you are not, it's Baby Jesus back with another gathering guide. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to say if you find anything useful or beneficial to you in this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It really does help. It doesn't cost you anything and it makes my day. Now, if you guys found stuff you didn't like, please make sure you also let me know in the comments, because I always try to make these better and I want to be able to make the next videos better for you. Now, that being said, let's get into it. Today, we are taking a look at earth motes. Now, earth motes can come from various different sources, the most common being earth spines that you can see directly in front of me. Next up, you have earth crags and earth shell turtles. Now, there are a couple of elemental animals in the world. There's some bears that can drop some essence or quintessence as well, but we will not be touching base on those today. Now, this video or this route will be taking place in Monarch's Bluff. Now, as you guys know, I love having my routes close to fast travel points because I don't want to waste too much time walking around. That being said, the closest route or the closest fast travel from this route is going to be Hermit's Shrine. You're going to fast travel there and you are going to just go due west to this little outcropping. You can tell where it goes from lighter green to darker green. That's where we are going to be starting today's route. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So you're going to start here. Obviously, you have a nice triple spawn to start your route off. You can also see in the distance there is a decent amount of life bloom in this area, or life mote sources in general. I believe there is also some life moths as well, which are the tier 5. But for our sake and our video, we are just going to be gathering the earth motes, and trust me, there are a lot of them. So once we get this triple spawn here, we're going to stay along this light green path. You don't want to go too far into the forest. Not that there's anything bad with going into it, just there are more wolves in the forest, and if you're trying to avoid mobs, that is your best bet. I do believe the wolves are around level 22, so if you are not a high enough level, they could absolutely steamroll you. So just pay attention. If you stick to the edge of the forest, like I said, that light green patch, you should be totally fine and be able to get there without any issue. Now, I like to put those waypoints on my map to make sure I don't stray off the path. But again, if you don't do that, just make sure that you look at your map. And if you stay in this little outcropping here and the light green, you should be able to find them no problem. And lo and behold, here they are. Here's your first earth spine right here. And there's another one just over the hill. So we're going to gather these two. And before I move on, we're going to make sure we go up into the forest. I don't think you can see it right now, but there is one of those earth shell turtles that I had mentioned. One of the rarer forms to get life motes, and if you're lucky, you can actually get one of those tier 5 materials as well. Now, it is a little bit further into the forest, like so. This wolf, you may have to fight him. You can actually see the turtle just off in the background. Now, just remember, if you do have to fight these wolves, you may as well get your money's worth. Make sure to skin them, because you can get those raw hides. If you have some tools, you can get some Azoth as well. Now, you saw my ping wasn't actually far enough into the forest, but nonetheless, here is your turtle. You guys see that? We just got a ton of earth motes instead of actually getting the turtle, and I'm not mad at that. Our next one is just going to be a little bit further out, away from the last two we just gathered, but still near that light green section on the map. So we can just come straight down, and we should be able to see it momentarily, if we are lucky. It may have already been gathered. Interesting. Well, nonetheless, sometimes they get gathered. Sometimes we can't get them all. We're just going to move on to our next one. There it is right there, actually. It's hidden. It's a little bit further into the bush than I thought. Pardon me. So, once you gather this earth spine, you are going to make sure that you move further up along the forest. You're going to sort of go towards these buildings right here. So you want to pin that on your map just to make sure you don't stray off the path. Now, just remember that one even fooled me that time. It is a bit further into the forest. I thought it was around here. It is a little bit deeper. Just keep that in mind. So again, we're just going to keep moving. I would recommend you kill all the turkeys in your sight. Not necessarily just because, I mean, we like to kill things in this game, but you can gather so many valuable resources. Poultry is a crazy good resource. Feathers don't exactly sell for much, but if you're lucky and you get some tier 3 or tier 4 poultry items like thighs or breasts, for example, they can sell for an absolute killing. Breasts are selling for 70 gold plus on my server right now. So as you guys see, we did come close to that building, and on the backside here, we are going to have a nice triple spawn of earth spine. So we're going to gather all of those. Now, as I've mentioned in the other videos, these elemental plants all have the same respawn time. So this earth spine is going to have a respawn time of 10 to 15 minutes. Any of the earth crag that we gather, which we will have a few in this video, will have a 15-minute respawn to a 25-minute respawn time. And any of the turtle shells will have a 25-minute to 45-minute respawn time. So once you've gathered these 3 earth spines, you are going to head across the road to this little rock outcropping here. And the reason we're doing this, you can go around, you can hit them straight on if you'd like to. But the reason is you can actually see in the background there, we are going to get the earth crag that is spawning right there. Now those are those elemental mining rocks that again do have a bit longer of a cooldown time, or respawn time rather. So just keep that in mind whenever you're running this route, that I would check on these every time, but don't expect to get them every time. So you can see there's a nice little double spawn of earth crag here. We're going to get that. You can get those loamy lodestones from them. You don't get them every time, but damn near. Very, very valuable for potions. Very valuable for infusing. If you guys so choose, there's a big bunch of blueberries that always spawn back there, which are a decent form and source of gold. Now, once you gathered that earth crag, or those earth crags rather, we are going to head up this direction here, just on the other side of the house. You can always hit those earth crags earlier if you so choose to try and be more streamlined on your route, but we are in no rush, so we're just going to keep walking by. Surprised we didn't aggro that wolf in the process. We are going to shoot the turkey because, like I said, we always want to. Oh, we managed to aggro him though. There we go. We got one of those eggs. Eggs are extremely valuable. They sell for about 17 gold a piece. So it's one of those things where if you are doing this for gold, you are going to be able to increase your gold per hour very, very quickly. We have some plate caps that do spawn here. Warm plate caps, I'm not entirely sure of their respawn time, but I do believe it's around the 15 to 20 minute mark. So you should be able to gather those every time through. If you get some mushrooms, we always like that. So a nice little triple spawn of earth spine up in the forest as well. Again, just so you guys know, we are in this general area. So we are going to gather these 3, and we are going to move on to our next spawn point. Now, just to give you guys reference, we started at the tip of this pasture down here, worked our way all the way around, got our turtle in this area, and moved around to these houses to get the earth crag, and now we're back up here. We're going to gather the earth spine, and our next section is just going to be on the other side of the road, and we're going to head in this general direction. Now, a cool little trick, if you are like me and playing on a potato of a PC, you have a little benefit. Gatherable resources spawn in faster than foliage, which means everything I can see from a distance is technically gatherable, whereas all the grass and the foliage and ground cover doesn't, which means you guys can actually see the earth spines way over there before the grass spawns in. And you'll see what I mean. When I walk in, you can see the earth spines, and then the grass will come in, and that can, sort of mask them and hide them behind various different things and blend them in. So if you are gathering and mining or what have you, and you want to get a little trick to see where things are in the distance, you can just do like I do and get a potato PC, or more realistically, just lower your graphic settings. So we're going to get this little double spawn. Again, we just went across the road from where we were gathering earlier. Now, up on this outcropping here, on this rock outcropping, you're going to want to make sure to go check, because there is another spawn point for those turtles, the earth shell turtles. I'm going to make sure I gather these 2 wolves that I've killed. And you guys can actually see the next spawn of earth spines as well. So we're going to go gather the earth spines, and we're going to go up and get that turtle. Pardon me. So a nice little double spawn of earth spine here. We're going to gather it, and we're going to go back towards where that wolf is, because that's where our friendly little turtle does spawn. You guys can actually see it now. You just want to make sure you always double check, because it is very easy to just run by it and not pay attention enough. And, well, you can miss out on some valuable resources, both motes or the actual turtle shell itself. There we go. We actually managed to get the earth shell tail. Beautiful. So, you guys can see directly in front of me are some life blooms. If you want to gather them, go right ahead. As you guys saw, those are the 3rd and 4th life bloom we have seen on this route alone. So if you guys are trying to do like a multi-faceted gathering, then absolutely feel free to do that. There's nothing wrong with it. You guys can see this is our next spot for earth spines right there. We are going to gather these life blooms, because I would be hypocritical to tell you to gather everything and not do it myself, even though we didn't gather the life blooms at the start, but they were not on our direct path. We see that wolf just behind the tree there. He's probably going to aggro onto us when we get to this life bloom, and that's all right. So again, once you gather these life blooms, directly northwest of us are going to be our next double spawn of earth spine. We're just going to go up this hill, and there they are.
So you guys can see I did start with 0 motes. I started with 1 earth spine stem, I believe. So you guys can see you can gather a ton of earth motes through this route. And if you have a higher gathering rate or percentage of drops and whatnot, you can get some pretty lucky stuff like there. We got a sliver of enchanted earth, which is huge. So after you gather those, we're going to come to this little outcropping right here. And the reason we're doing this is because it's another spawn point for the earth shell turtles. You guys can already see it right now. So again, that's just on the little outcropping of the rock right here. After you've gathered this turtle, we are going to head to the top side of the bend there on the road. You guys can go around if you want to. You'll probably pull less aggro if you stay to this side of the road. And there should be another triple spawn of this earth spine, We're going to get rid of that turkey. You guys can see it right down there. All around the totem pole. Make it very, very easy for you to see. It's not a totem pole, but the shrine, if you will. Lots of turkeys, lots of elk. You guys can kill them all if you so choose to. Now, again, we are just here. We did grab our turtle here and ran across the road to try and avoid as many of the ads as possible. We don't want to be aggroing too much because we want this to be as accessible to all of you as possible. After you've gathered here, you are going to head down to this area right here next to this big rock, or small-ish rock. And that's going to be our next gathering area. There's going to be some more earth spine that spawn there. So again, as you walk by, if they're in your way, don't go too far out of your way to get them. But if they're in your way or near you, make sure to kill everything in sight. Get those turkeys. You could get some lucky drops. Get some poultry. Again, poultry sells for like 4 or 5 gold a piece on my server. Definitely worth it. Now here's where you can spend a lot of time. We're going through a farm, and if you guys know, all farm items like corn are extremely valuable. So make sure to gather as much of this as you possibly can. You will thank me later. Again, we are just at this farm right here, and we're going to gather this corn. It's right in our way. We're not going to try and aggro too many of these guys. And then we are going to head on our way. Gather what's in front of us and move on. You guys can see there's some more warm plate caps to our right next to an ad or a mob. We're going to hop up and over that fence, and we are just going to keep moving. Again, if you want to grab those plate caps, by all means do so. So you guys can see here, this is now our next spawn for these earth spines. We have an abomination right there who will attack us as soon as we get close. They have a wicked good aggro range. And we'll take him out. There we go. Gather these earth spine up. You can double check. I do believe there may be a spawn point on the other side of this rock, but I can never remember. I believe this might be the only double. Again, always worth checking. You never know. It seems like I'm wrong, but there is a turkey for our troubles. Once you've gathered those last earth spines, you're going to want to make your way back to our starting area. The reason I say that is there are no more spawn points on this. That is the route in its entirety. But if you make your way back to the area, you should get back with roughly the perfect amount of time for all of your earth spines to respawn. So we're just going to make our way up the cliff again. You want to try and get as high as possible and get around this way. Now, if you go through that little question mark area in the middle, there's going to be some mobs. So keep that in mind. You guys see there's silver spawns here. We're going to leave them for the time being just because for the sake of brevity, we're not going to go through and gather those. These are slightly faster to pick, so we're going to do that with the plate caps. You guys can see an iron spawn to our left as well. If you want to gather those, again, feel free to do so. A bunch of fibers as well, some hemp spawns to our left. You guys can get all of this if you want to maximize your time. Now, we have about 200 meters to go before we're back at our starting point. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate you so damn much. You guys are I'm so grateful for all the support you guys are showing. If you guys have noticed anything in this video that is off, can improve, please let me know. The more that I can get feedback, the more that I can improve the videos and make them better for you and become a better content creator for all of you as well. If you did like it and you found anything useful, like I said at the beginning of the video, I would greatly appreciate you to hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell if you want to, but feel no obligation to. You guys can see here we are now coming through those life plumes that we saw when we originally started our route, and we will gather them now.
And all of a sudden, full circle, we have our earth spines in the distance already respawned and ready for us to go. Now, just to show you, we have gathered, I believe I started with 3 or 2 of these earth spine stems. So we've gathered 30, 35 conservatively, 1 of the earth shell tails, and 350 earth motes every 15 minutes. So you're getting well over 1,000 earth motes an hour if you were doing this route. You guys can sell them for whatever you so choose to do, or you can use them for your crafting. Now, just remember, when you're crafting your motes, you require 4 of them to make a wisp, 3 of them to make an essence, and 4 essence to make a quintessence. So just remember, those are your ratios. So if you ever want to know how many you need of things. That's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, a great little route, very easy. Like I said, if you want to avoid the mobs, you can avoid almost each and every single one of them. You don't have to worry about fighting and dying to the mobs. And it's a perfect little route where you can just run over and over and over right next to a fast travel. So that's going to be the end of this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Take care of yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.